On Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Infinity. Empower the drive.
Well, just a while earlier, they had the finish of the Cardinals-Brewers game on the video board here at Coors Field, and the fans that had already made their way into the ballpark got to celebrate together as the Rockies will head to the postseason for the first time since 2009, for just the fourth time in the 25-year history of this franchise. And set off a celebration inside the clubhouse for Bud Black and his Rockies. Well, the game delayed about 20 minutes. I don't know if it's a weather delay or a champagne delay that had Clayton Kershaw beginning his warm-ups and then having to go back into the clubhouse to kind of restart the schedule.
You know what? He is locked in for every single game from spring training through the postseason, but I would not want to be the Rockies and irritate him. And that might have irritated him a little bit if you find out there was no rain at all and really maybe a very light threat, and you decided to postpone the game a little bit and put Mr. Kershaw behind his schedule because you wanted to shake hands.
Last time they irritated him, it was Tyler Anderson walking very slowly from the bullpen back into the dugout at Dodger Stadium earlier this year, and Clayton Kershaw absolutely shut the Rockies down that night. Not a fun guy to face when he's more upset and more angry than he is just as a baseline going into a lot of starts. Finds a way to get himself to a fiery competitor spot each time he takes it.
These Rockies did not make any lineup changes, even though they knew they are in now and playing Arizona. They came with the full regulars.
German Marquez, the starter for the Rockies in this one, and it's somewhat of a festive atmosphere in this ballpark as they know that they're headed to the postseason. They'll play on Wednesday at Chase Field against the Diamondbacks. The winner of that one will head to Dodger Stadium Friday night for Game 1 of the NLDS. The lineups for the Dodgers with Chris Taylor leading it off, back in there after having yesterday off with a knee injury from the final game of the homestand. Seager, Turner, Bellinger, then Austin Barnes hitting fifth and catching Kershaw. In left field, Curtis Granderson. Yasiel Puig's in right, and Chase Utley with the right-hander on the mound makes the start at second base. Marquez, a 22-year-old rookie in a rotation that was full of rookies early on. Three guys have moved into the bullpen, so Marquez, the last one standing among those guys.
Somebody that they're still very high on, and since the All-Star break, he's really found his curveball, and the league has not found it, hitting below 200 against that pitch. And interesting that it's been effective, but he hasn't pitched home. This will be the first time in about 4 outings that he has pitched at home in this thinner air. See if he stays with that curveball.
Rockies have loved having him on the mound in this ballpark. They've won 9 of the last 10 games that he's started here, which goes a ways back, like you said. It's been a while. Dodgers have seen him once. They faced him on September 8th. And the Rockies swept that 4-game series, and Marquez wasn't particularly dominant. Gave up 4 runs over 4 innings and a no decision.
How the day has changed for Bud Black. Milwaukee broke out to a 6-0 lead, and then St. Louis answers with 7 unanswers and takes the game away from Milwaukee. Bud Black was facing a Milwaukee win and Clayton Kershaw as a possibility today.
Yeah, it was starting to get a little hairy around here. They were going to have to go in tomorrow with the magic numbers still at 1 and the pressure on. But all that drama is flushed. And we're ready to go here with Game 2. Dodgers and Rockies, final weekend of the regular season. And off we go with strike 1. Closed captioning brought to you by California Earthquake Authority. Get the strength to rebuild. Great news that Chris Taylor's okay after that injury on Wednesday night. Thought that he was good enough to go last night, but they went the precautionary route and held him out again. Said the bag was just wet and kind of veered to the side to avoid Will Myers. Those two things combined had his knee buckling.
It's a knee issue. At first thought it was an ankle issue, but ended up wrenching his knee, and was healthy enough yesterday to play. But the Dodgers throughout this season have always said the player can play, he wants to play, and they always wait one more day.
Yeah. On a 1-2, Taylor takes it in the dirt, and the count evens up. Marquez last time out got his first win in more than a month against San Diego on Sunday. Only lasted 5 innings, but held the Padres to 2 runs. Here he comes with a 2-2, and Taylor bangs a base hit into center. Listen to all the Dodger fans here. I thought in walking to the park there was an inordinate amount of blue, especially with how excited they are about the Rockies around here, but it sounds like my eyes were not deceiving me.
Schedule usually ends playing a Western opponent, and a lot of Dodger fans, if it's on the road, schedule that as a road trip at the very beginning of the year, hoping that these are going to be important games, and this one still is on an individual basis. Justin Turner, Charlie Blackmon battling for the batting title. Clayton Kershaw looking for his 19th win.
And Corey Seager trying to continue what has been a pretty good stretch, last night not included. On the first pitch that he sees, he bounces into the 4-6-3 double play. And it brings up Turner. So we can now give you kind of an idea of the math on this. So he trails Charlie Blackmon by 7 points, 329 to 322. For Turner to win the batting title, Blackmon would need to go 1 for 9. Averages about 4.5 ABs per game. He'd need to go 1 for 9, with Turner going 5 for 9. 1 ball, no strikes.
There really is a lot shorter odds than I really thought about before. I thought it would be more like a 9 for 10 and a 0 for 9.
Right.
Well, half as bad as I thought it was going to be.
It's a fly ball to right field. Carlos Gonzalez settles under it, and Marquez faces the minimum in the first. Clayton Kershaw takes the ball for the final time in the regular season after this. Kershaw, his major league best 18 wins and 221 earned run average, taking the mound for one final tune-up for October.
I don't think he ever has a tune-up. Every outing is the same, but we classify it as a tune-up, that is for sure, because it is prior to the next biggest game of his life, and he has been dominant on the road, but he will open the playoffs at home.
Coming off his deepest outing since he went on the disabled list, gave up just 1 run over 8 innings on Sunday against San Francisco. Yeah, now gets ready to face the Rockies. There is no hard pitch count on him. There is no hard innings limit. Dave Roberts saying before the game, basically, it's up to Kershaw and that he wants him to feel good, get to the point where you're confident in how your stuff feels going into your next start. And then he's hoping Kershaw will be honest with him. Good luck with that. And Kershaw gets into competitor mode. Starts Blackmon with a strike. He figured somewhere south of 100 pitches. Of course, you'd love to see him go 5 innings and be eligible for a win. No balls, 2 strikes on Blackmon. Fifth start for Kershaw against Colorado this year. 2 good ones, 2 bad ones. Most recently, not a good one. Gave up 4 runs over 3 2/3 in early September.
He is usually ultra aggressive in the strike zone early in the count. 2 out of 3 of the first 2 pitches, or the first 3 pitches, are usually strikes, and right here all 3 have been. But knowing the shorter leash today, I think he'll really be pouring it in there.
Blackmon hits it by him into center for a base hit. How about our Honda keys to the game?
4 fastballs, 4 strikes, and stay healthy. It's going to be up there even tomorrow as the top one for everybody. Kershaw go 5, so he is eligible for his 19th win, and for him to be eligible for a 19th win, he'd have to leave the game ahead, and that means get the offense on a fast start, so he leaves after 5 up.
And the offense had been clicking on the homestand. 3 consecutive games scoring at least 9 runs, but Chad Bettis and the Rockies shut him down last night in a 9-1 game. DJ LeMahieu muscles a teardrop into right center field. Back-to-back base hits to begin.
5 pitches, 5 fastball, 1 hit pretty good. This one on Audi PitchCast, you can see it was up and in and jams him, and that's what happens with the flight of the ball. It's a jam shot to right center. Hit a little harder, it's an out, but it wasn't, so it's a hit.
And it's Arenado to the plate for the Rockies. His 37th home run last night, and his 7th this year against LA. One of those home runs came against Kershaw, and it came against his curveball, which has only happened a handful of times over the last few seasons. Bottom of the zone, quickly 0-2.
First one might have been a cutter, second one might have been a slider. 89, 91 miles an hour with tight, sharp break.
One of the first times Austin Barnes has caught Kershaw, with a chance that the Dodgers will see the Diamondbacks in the NLDS and the Game 1 starter Robbie Ray. That would mean that Austin Barnes would likely start that game. 0-2, and he takes it high, ball 1. Let's check in with Alana.
Joe, I asked Dave Roberts that very question, whether it was going to be Yasmani Grandal catching Clayton Kershaw because of the amount of times that he has been back there, or if it was going to be Austin Barnes, a guy that perhaps is swinging the bat a little bit better as of late. He said, all things being considered defensively, if they're exactly the same, I'm going with the guy that's swinging the hot bat. Right now, that would be Austin Barnes.
And then a decision made easier, and that it's kind of evolved into a platoon. The left-handed Ray on the mound. If it was a toss-up, it would make it even easier on Dave.
The other clue is Austin Barnes is hitting exactly behind Cody Bellinger. So with that protection there, if they really enjoy having Austin Barnes bat in the lineup and then giving him the responsibility of protecting Cody Bellinger, it shows how highly they think of him. They have struggled to find somebody to hit behind Cody all year.
the number 5 spot in the order has been the least productive in the lineup. Normally you see 7 and 8. The Dodgers have had Puig producing out of that 8 spot much of the year. 2-2, and Arenado swings and misses, and he was fooled in an off-speed pitch.
Everything firm until the put-away pitch. This curveball on the road this year has been outstanding. The results the league has had on the road, 061 they've hit off his curveball on the road.
Although this is a unique beast as far as road ballparks, and especially trying to throw curveballs.
Yeah, he started that one off on the right plane and had enough spin and air on it to get it to break that sharp.
First and second, 1 out, and Trevor Story's up. Strike 1 to the outside. Story hit one of the 4 home runs for Colorado last night. All 4 homers came with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Hard hit. Seager's got it with a backhand. At second, they get 1, and they turn a double play. Seager to Utley to Bellinger, and despite the back-to-back singles to open the inning, with a little bit of help from the defense, Kershaw out of the inning scoreless. Right after we sent it to break, Bob Black held his hand up and said, "We're going to take a look at it," and it didn't take long. Trevor Story was safe, and the call's been overturned, and the inning's been extended.
Dodgers really didn't leave the field. Kershaw got to the third base foul line and turned around when he saw from the Rocky bench they were motioning for the headphones.
So at the corners with 2 out, Mark Reynolds climbs in and looks at ball 1. Like Story, like Arenado, like Blackman, homered last night. 4 of the first 5 in the Rockies order did that. On a 1-0 pitch, Reynolds hits a soft chopper to third. Turner's got it, and the inevitable was only delayed. We go to the second. No score. Off and rolling here in game 161. Second for the Dodgers, obviously one of the lead stories this season. One of the headlines for the Dodgers has been his emergence after his call-up in late April. German Marquez delivers the first pitch of the inning, and it's a strike. And we talked about biggest surprises, and you chose Cody Bellinger as yours.
Well, Adrian Gonzalez was supposed to be the first baseman, healthy all year, has always been an RBI producer throughout his career. Thought he would be the centerpiece of the offense, but when he was hurt in spring training with the forearm and then hurt some more, Cody needed to fill in, and boy, did he explode onto the scene. You really didn't think that first base would even be an opportunity, even if he was tearing it up in the minor leagues, that Adrian would be over there doing his thing. You first have to have an opportunity to be a big leaguer, and then you have to produce, and he did both.
He's down on strikes here. Marquez with his first punch out, one away in the second. He's obviously the top power prospect in the system, so you figured at some point he would come and he would produce. He said his goal entering the year was to be a September call-up, just to make his debut in 2017. Austin Barnes with the bases empty and one gone. Ball one.
And then the surprising thing with Cody Bellinger was the tools around the power bat, because you know, we know about the minor leaguers. We see them perform in spring training in the big league games sometimes. We hear the scouts talk about them, but then to lay your eyes on Cody Bellinger and see the other things that he brings, the Gold Glove caliber outfielder and first baseman, being able to play anywhere on the field, and then the speed that impresses you every single day.
Barnes grounds out to second, two gone.
You don't expect that out of a first baseman.
Playing over performance spotlight. He's 39 home runs, most in National League history. He's been sitting on 39 the last few days. You know that he would love to hit 40. And you wonder if perhaps the human element of that has helped lead to a 1-for-18 slide that he's currently in. Granderson, strike one. Two balls and a strike.
You know, the other thing about Cody being a big surprise for me, other than the production on the field, it's always a surprise when a young fellow handles success so well. We never really saw his personality change. And being the son of a big leaguer, I think that probably helped an awful lot, being around the Yankees, being around big leaguers, and not being in awe of the situation.
Granderson pops one into center. There's Charlie Blackmon. There's a 1-2-3 second for German Marquez. Clayton Kershaw back out there after this. As Orioles' biggest surprise of the season. We'll have more thoughts as the weekend rolls on. But Alana Rizzo, what do you have on Cody Bellinger?
One of the things that impressed me the most about this rookie, guys, is what he did even beginning in spring training. Bob Guerin told us that he was such a video rat and a gym rat, as we've talked about before. But this is a guy that even when other people had left or he was allowed to leave a spring training game, he stayed until the final out in order to be able just to learn. He was so inquisitive. And again, the son of a big league ball player understands the game better than most as they come up for the first time, but he just wanted to soak everything in. He still does that with video work, and his willingness to learn from the veterans around him doesn't let the stage get too big, doesn't let the whole situation get too big, and he's performed nicely.
Carlos Gonzalez leads off this inning with a high drive that's out of here. And the Rockies strike first with a Gonzalez home run against Kershaw.
Take a look at our Volkswagen replay as Gonzalez stays hot. Over the last 7 games, this Rocky offense has really started to heat up. 7 guys hitting 300 or above. Gonzalez leads the pack over the last 7 games at 438. That's his first home run, and it was a good one.
Ian Desmond looks at a ball. And for Gonzalez, an emotional weekend, and this could be his final weekend at Coors Field, depending on whether or not the Rockies can win on Wednesday down in Phoenix. He is in the final year of his contract. 9th and final year, most likely, as a Rocky.
The Rockies clinched on the video board. They celebrated in their locker room, and then about 10 minutes.
Desmond into center.
About 10 minutes before the game, they all started coming out and running down the right field line and stretching. Gonzalez was stopped by the PA announcer here and was interviewed in front of the crowd, and he was very emotional, thanking the crowd. PA announcer said, "You've put in your blood, sweat, and tears and career into this organization. What's it like to go to the playoffs?" And he goes, "All I can say is thank you." And he could barely get it out, and he jogged away to get loose for the game.
Now, the Rockies have had the worst record in the National League over the last 6 years. At least 16 games out of first place every year. At least 87 losses every year during that stretch. Jonathan Lucroy takes a strike. Franchise began in 1993, and they had 3 postseason trips over the first 24 years. 6 winning seasons over the first 24 years. They went in 95. They went in 07. They had a trip to the World Series that year. They went in 09. That 07 squad finished the year by winning 21 of 22 in what was known as Rocktober around here. Kershaw to Lucroy with a 1-1 pitch. Runner takes off. Barnes can't pull the trigger on a ball that bounced. Desmond at second, and it's 2-1.
The Rockies looking to make a statement here and give Clayton a tough time. They're going to have to work their way through Arizona to get another shot at the Dodgers after these 2 games, but so far here they don't look like they have much of a celebration hangover.
Usually that's figurative. It is here too. Lucroy on 2-1. Fouls it off, 2-2.
They put video footage of the Rockies shaking hands in the locker room. Some of them were in their jerseys still, some of them in t-shirts, but there was no spraying of champagne that we could see on the video board, but it was a good 10 minutes after the so-called celebration was going on, and maybe they had time to edit the video a little bit.
Cut out the good stuff.
Cut out the bubbles.
Lucroy pummels one to the left field corner. That is off the wall on a bounce. It's 2-0 Rockies as Lucroy drives in Desmond with a double.
Breaking ball, and it stays up a little bit in the middle of the play. Lucroy does a nice job kind of hesitating with his hands, committed the lower half, but the hand stayed back. Had some power to drive that ball to left field.
It's his first hit against Kershaw, 19 career meetings. Now Marquez shows bunt, looks at a strike. Well, Marquez is somebody that the Dodgers would see in the NLDS if the Rockies do win the wild card game on Wednesday. Probably would be the Game 3 starter. That would be Monday, 9 days from now. Right? Friday, Saturday, off day Sunday, Game 3 here the following Monday, if it is Colorado. Able to lay it down. Barnes has it. 2 out, or 1 out. Back to the top of the Rockies order. Here's Charlie Blackmon, who singled his first time. And last night became the all-time record holder for RBIs out of the leadoff spot. 102 now, breaking Darren Erstad's record that he set in 2000 with the Angels. 37 homers and 103 RBIs overall. And a likely batting title. Another base hit. Past the drawn in Utley. That gets all the way to the backhanded glove of Puig, who fades away and throws into second to hold him to a single. Colorado battering Kershaw around. 3 runs here in the second.
This ball is ripped. Low fastball, and he gets the ball in the air. That's the impressive thing. That ball's down by the kneecaps, away from him. Very pretty swing to be a left-on-left situation, not to pull off of that ball and hit the top of it.
One on, one out. DJ LeMahieu taking a strike. And to think Charlie Blackmon might not even finish first in MVP voting on his own team.
That'll be, yeah, a close call with Arenado. Nolan Arenado with an absolutely amazing year again. Some people say that he wouldn't be having such a good year if Charlie wasn't getting on in front of him to be driven in.
Who would get your National League MVP vote?
Wow. You could go off the board and go all the way over to Giancarlo Stanton or Joey Votto. But I am a little bit sentimental that it should go to somebody that the team has accomplished something special also. And now here with the Rockies making the playoffs, that helps the Rock Show, the Arenado and Blackmon case. Goldschmidt in Arizona. Justin Turner and Cody Bellinger in LA. That's a hard vote. That's a really hard vote.
They've got him picked off at first. Bellinger to Seager, who tags Blackmon for out number 2.
You know, it might come down to who gets the highest second and third place votes, not first place votes ultimately. You know,
in the way that it's scored.
They start splitting the first place votes across the board, and all of a sudden who rates who better for the second place and the third place vote to put them over the top. You could have a guy get the most first place votes but not win, maybe. I don't know how they evaluate the numbers.
That backs Turner up. Mayhew is retired.
It's a good way of not answering your question.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know the answer, so thank God they get out of the inning.
The regular season and in the postseason is with MLB.com at bat, #1 app in baseball for live baseball coverage. Enjoy game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcast, statcast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today.
Remember, the training staff is out there looking at German Marquez. Looking at the tips of his fingers, which throws up the antenna that it could be blister issues. The smile on his face would make you think that it's nothing too worrisome.
Need to trim and nail. Feeling a little pressure right there. Always tried to get my manicure the day before I pitched.
You really got manicures before you pitched?
Not really. I did it myself with a nail file. Biggest thing with guys with blisters for me, when I got a blister, I would always file my skin the direction the ball came off my hand so that there were no bumps, or I wouldn't want to build calluses. If you build calluses, it's like the ball starts grabbing onto the callus because that's higher skin than your normal skin. Then you start getting ripping around it. So just smoothing it out so the ball could come off easily.
Bottom of the Dodger order against Marquez, whose first pitch of the third is taken for a ball by Yasiel Puig. How do you scuff it up, though, if you're sanding your
Scuff up the
nails
ball?
down? Yeah.
Oh, there's so many other ways, but I never used a scuff ball. I pitched against guys who scuff the ball, and you go out and they'd roll it to the mound after they get out of the inning and you'd have it. I would try and use it as long as I could throw strikes with it. But usually it enhanced the movement on my two-seamer so much it was hard to control. So if I fell behind 2-0 with that ball that I saw had a little blemish on it, I'd throw the ball out, get a brand new pristine ball. Wouldn't move as much. At least you could throw strikes with it.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Puig. Slipped out of Marquez's hand, and the count goes full.
We're really getting into the nitty-gritty of pitching the last couple of nights. We're going from how do you make the ball feel tacky in your hand to what do you do if you see a scuff on the ball?
Yeah, we're sharing all the
inside.
All the secrets.
Little secrets. Just brushing up against them.
Here comes a payoff, and Puig walks to open this third. So up comes Chase Utley. As the Dodgers face Marquez for the second time this month. Guy the Rockies are really high on. Marquez still only 22 years old. Signed when he was 16 with Tampa Bay, actually with Andrew Friedman. And that was acquired by the Rockies in the same trade that brought Jake McGee over a couple of years ago. Corey Dickerson going from Colorado to Tampa Bay, and it's turned out to be a pretty good deal for both sides. Dickerson was an all-star this year. Ball one on Utley. Made his debut last September. Pitched in 6 games and had an ERA above 5, but flashed some really good stuff as a 21-year-old at that point. Yeah, made the rotation early on because of some injury problems. Was one of 4 rookies in the rotation at one point, but is the last one standing in the rotation. 2 balls, no strikes.
He has a really good hand, and I mean by that he can spin his fastball and he can spin his breaking stuff. He has the ability to use that whole lever system, but then at the end really imparts some good rotation onto the ball, whether he's making it go fast with tail or sink or trying to spin the front of the ball and make it go down with the slider and the curve.
Utley shows one, jumps over a strike. Like only he can.
His legs almost became like a wicket in croquet. Almost goes between them.
Three and one.
Chase is swinging on this pitch. He's looking for something to drive through the hole on the right side with Puig on first. But I have a feeling you're going to get the same type of pitch 3-1 as you are 3-2, that he is probably not going to swing.
He does, and did what you initially thought. That is drive a ball through the gap on the right side to put him at the corners with nobody out.
He was looking for something on the inner half, and if he got it, he's going to start the bat early to make sure he pulls it, use that hole. If he gets anything on the outer half, he was going to let it go, or something that's too low. So able to keyhole him on what his plan was and use that hole perfectly.
Kershaw the batter, and a 3-0 game here in the third.
It's always an interesting time to bunt, first and third, no out. First and third, 1 out's even more interesting because then you got to look for the squeeze. A lot of times you square around early to look like you're sacrificing. If you miss the sacrifice, all of a sudden your manager in a key game, probably not here, can move to the squeeze, but you don't have to disguise it. You just square around like you're sacrificing, but the squeeze is on. Much easier to get the bunt down.
0-2.
The slash play is a lot more fun early in the count before 2 strikes because the defense is squeezing in for the bunt. Now that you have 2 strikes, they'll be a little bit more wary of you pulling the bat back and swinging the bat.
Kershaw lays it down with 2 strikes. And moves Utley into scoring position, joining Puig.
It's well done with the pressure of 2 strikes. Don't try and get it down either line. Just try and get it in fair territory. Deadened it perfectly.
The Dodgers with an opportunity here to get back in this game with the top of the order and Chris Taylor coming up. Here's the lone Dodger hit so far tonight. Hot shot to short that Story spears on a bounce and gets Taylor. They do get a run as Puig comes in to score. Ollie hangs on at second, and 2 gone in a 3-1 game.
Couple of days off have not hurt Chris Taylor. He's had 2 rockets so far, one on a fastball, this one on a breaking ball. Yasiel Puig did a nice job making sure the line drive wasn't caught after he sees the bounce, takes off. Story, no chance at him, but gets Taylor at first.
So the Dodgers on the board here in the 3rd, and Corey Seager taking a change up for a ball. Hit it hard his first time, but into a double play.
Really starting to believe Corey is feeling comfortable at the plate. Today had great rounds of batting practice, and instead of in between rounds kind of coming out and chatting with the hitting coaches or working on swings or positioning of his hands or feet, he just came out and just kind of relaxed and leaned against the cage like it's feeling pretty good. You can kind of tell the mental state of a hitter as they're taking their BP, and then as they come out of the cage, just kind of watch their mannerisms, who they talk to, what they work on in between, or are they just kind of getting loose and feel good about themselves, and that looked like where he was.
Bounced off of the plate, dead ends in front of Marquez, who throws him out, and the inning is over. The Dodgers settle for 1, but they are on the board against Marquez. 3-1 to the bottom of the 3rd. At LA is brought to you by the all-new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica, the new benchmark of minivans, and by Jack in the Box. Come try the new $4.99 Smoky Jack Burger Combo, a small fries and a small drink, limited time only. Clayton Kershaw back to work for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Nolan Arenado taking ball 1. Joe Davis, Or Hershiser, and Alana Rizzo. Rockies getting 3 in the second against Kershaw with a home run from Carlos Gonzalez and RBI hits from Lucroy and Blackman. And Clayton Kershaw making his final start of the regular season. Hoping that the Dodgers can come from behind and maybe get him his 19th win. 2 balls and a strike. Leads the National League in wins right now. Leads it in ERA. Leads it in strikeout to walk ratio. Leads it in park adjusted ERA. Max Scherzer leads the league in strikeouts and in whip, and has started 4 more games than Kershaw, pitched about 30 more innings than Kershaw, coming into Kershaw's start tonight. It looks like it's coming down to those 2 guys for Cy Young. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Arenado.
As hazy as it is for the NL MVP, I think it is cut and dry that Clayton Kershaw should win it. I think Max Scherzer will get an awful lot of votes, but I think Clayton, as of right now, if the season ended before their outings today, he would get the award.
Arenado with a solidly struck single to left. Cut and dry?
I really do. I believe that it is. I think wins are still a very heavily weighted stat with the voters. I think the ERA is still a heavy stat, and I think that everybody can project if Clayton would have been a little healthier that he would have really been cut and dry, head and shoulders above everybody. And there is a little bit of room there because he doesn't have as many starts, as many innings, and as many strikeouts, but with his resume, it would be very easy to project that he was the most dominant pitcher of the year. What he accomplished realistically and what you could project with a few more starts of health.
Drops in a curve for strike 1 on Trevor Story. I mean, I agree with you, but I don't know that voters do that they
right.
Extrapolate and say, if he were healthy, he would have done this, so let's give it to him.
No,
I agree with you that he should win it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know that it's cut and dry based on that. You know, giving credit to the voters for extrapolating it over a full 31 starts.
Scherzer pitched today, went 3 1/3?
And left with what looked like a leg injury. The word is that it was just precautionary that they took him out, but didn't look right, and called the training staff out. And after 54 pitches, his day ended.
So let's just forget about this outing and forget about Scherzer's and vote on everything prior to that.
Yeah, I'm with you. My vote goes to
I still
Kershaw.
think, and cut and dry was probably too firm a phrase, but I really do think that he's a head above him, not head and shoulders above him.
With Arenado at first and nobody out, Kershaw to Story with a 1-2. How about this? The Dodgers are 22-4 when Kershaw starts. Nationals are good when Scherzer starts, but not that good. 21-9. So 22-4 when Kershaw starts, while the Nationals are 21-9 and Scherzer starts.
If I could put myself and be a Washington announcer, I would be saying something like, I hope Max wins.
Rolled to third, off of Turner to Seager, 5, 6, and almost 3, but Story beats it out.
It'd be, I hope Max wins, but I think Kershaw's gonna win. And since I'm favoring the blue side and been a Dodger for a long, long time, I'm pretty sure Kershaw's gonna win, and I would be very surprised if Scherzer wins.
Ruled that an error on Turner. So 2 on and nobody out. Rockies trying to get that run back. Mark Reynolds grounded out his first time and is now 6 for 35 lifetime against Kershaw. If Kershaw wins, he'll join Steve Carlton, Roger Clemens, Greg Maddux, and Randy Johnson as the only pitchers in the history of baseball with 4 Cy Youngs.
His ticket to the Hall of Fame is already written, but that would pretty much slam dunk. Can I go there now?
It would give you your headline on the plaque. Right? 4 Cy Youngs.
Right, but he might not stop there. Could just go for best pitcher on planet, and then if he keeps going, they could put ever.
Mm-hmm. Cy Young's been around since the 1950s. They started giving it to both leagues in the 1960s. It's kind of the Sandy Koufax rule. He was hogging them, winning 3 while they were giving it to just one pitcher. Not one in the AL, one in the NL, just the best pitcher across baseball. Give somebody else a chance.
They'd be dividing it into 2 awards if it was still 1 award and Clayton Kershaw came around.
Buried a slider to get him, 1 gone on Kershaw's second K. Up comes Carlos Gonzalez, and we look back at his home run and our Carl scam. There's been a lot of this month for Cargo.
Really a sentimental goodbye going on with him and the Rockies, and he has been in his old form this month, and especially this last week, hitting almost 400 in his last 7 games.
And it really gives this lineup tremendous length if they have Carlos Gonzalez hitting down in the bottom part of the order. Jonathan Lucroy, who's hitting 8th most days, has had a great last month, regardless of if they're at Coors Field or not. On a 1-0, it's outside for ball 2.
You have Cargo swinging the bat well. You have if you have Story swinging the bat well. If you have, Reynolds swinging the bat well. It's crazy how good this team could be offensively. You're not even talking about LeMahieu, Arenado, Blackman.
First and second with 1 out. And Kershaw to Gonzalez with a 2-0. Hard hit to second. Utley's got it. There's 1 and 2. They turn the double play to finish the Rockies off in the 3rd, on to the 4th in a 3-1 game.
Thursday prior to coming to Colorado, a travel day with some interesting attire if you were some of the Dodgers rookies. It was rookie dress-up day, one of my favorite days of the year. There's Cody Bellinger, aka Elvis. Slender man, that is Brock Stewart, who thought he was going to get out of rookie dress-up. Look at Walker Buehler as an officer of some sort. You have Freddy Krueger, that's Alex Verdugo. And then they had to, of course, walk around the mean streets of Denver. Then you have Pennywise, that insanely frightening clown. That's Wilmer Font, who's about 7'7", so that works out well for him. Really just a fun time. Alex Wood, Justin Turner getting in on the fun. Of course, Kyle Farmer, Okoye Dixon, Justin Turner just getting hit. Guys, go ahead.
Turner gets hit on the elbow, hopefully on the elbow pad, as his first pitch of the inning gets away from Marquez. Whatever it hit it hard. You could hear it very clearly. Yep, off the pad.
A lot of times the reason you wear that pad is because there's a bruise in that area and you don't want to get it re-hit, so it still stings, but hopefully not as bad as if there would be no pad there. Breaking ball, so it's not intentional. You see the rotation of the ball, it never really bites. Hung right in there off that elbow.
They give Justin Turner another second to let that pain wear off. Cody Bellinger gets ready to bat. Lana might want to make sure you get to finish that off.
Yeah, Justin Turner taking one there for the team, but also taking one for the team as far as organizing the rookie dress-up with Alex Wood, a big part of why they had all of those different costumes. And you can see the entire thing. Our backstage cameras were there certainly on Thursday. A brand new all backstage Dodgers presented by Hankook Tires. Always a blast, rookie dress-up day, guys.
And backstage Dodgers always on the case. Love that show. Other than one on Bellinger. He struck out his first time. That's the only one so far for Marquez. Cody going through a bit of a slide right now. One hit in his last 18 at-bats. On the ground is second. That is tailor-made. 2 out.
Now's your chance to be at Dodger Stadium during the Fall Classic. Register today for the opportunity to purchase extremely limited single-game tickets to potential 2017 World Series games played at Dodger Stadium. Fans will be randomly selected from a list of registrants. Visit Dodgers.com/postseason.
Indians are down by a run right now, by the way, as Austin Barnes takes a strike. Dodger magic number to clinch the best record overall, and therefore home field advantage throughout the postseason sits at 1. Barnes jams one back through the box. Behind the back, Story. A running throw to get it. Marquez working quickly. To the bottom of the 4th we go in a 3-1 game. Our storylines this season. Biggest surprise for Orioles was Cody Bellinger. Alana, you and I went with Chris Taylor.
Joe, I think it's just because of the amount of different positions that Chris Taylor has played, seemingly as if he's been in every single one of them his entire life, not even making the 25-man regular season roster coming out of spring training, and now he's really emerged as a guy that you can't live without and you can't take out of the lineup. Tremendous in that leadoff spot. Of course, everybody holding their collective breath when he got hurt on Wednesday night. His knee is fine, and this is a guy legitimately amongst the team, certainly an MVP candidate.
Chris Taylor started this season in Oklahoma City. The fact that he hadn't proven that he could play in the outfield was what had him there, as opposed to Kike Hernandez, who won the job as the backup shortstop because he could also play the outfield. Ian Desmond swings through it, strike one. Taylor obviously has since proven that he can play it, not just play it, but your eyes would tell you and the numbers would tell you that he's an above average major league outfielder. Curve, and it's 0-2.
Surprising things also about Chris Taylor is how his infield arm translated to the outfield. One of the best outfield arms around out there. Rivals Yasiel Puig, strength and accuracy.
In the hole, Corey Seager across his body. That arm has looked stronger the last couple of days.
As he was added back into the lineup and taken away from the pinch hitting duties, Corey Seager all of a sudden moving from just making the routine throw to back to having the off-balance throw, something that he can have in his arsenal, and he's showed that off right there.
Kershaw looking for his first clean inning of the night. Rockies getting a couple of base runners in the first, 3 runs in the second, 2 more base runners in the third. First pitch swinging, Lucroy sends it to Chase Utley, 2 out. And just to continue on the Chris Taylor conversation, starts the year in the minors, and I asked him, had you looked at your line, had you been able to preview your final season line in the majors, what would have you said? And he said, well, he thought that he could be a 300 hitter in the majors if given the opportunity. The question was, would he get enough opportunities to be a legitimate everyday 300 hitter? But the thing to him that's been, even for him, a shocker is the 21 home runs. Marquez to Seager. And a lightning quick inning for Clayton Kershaw to get back on track. Just 6 pitches for him, and we go to the 5th.
Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota's clearance countdown is on. Get huge savings on the last of the 2017 Corollas.
Continuing the conversation on Chris Taylor, such a great surprise this season for the Dodgers. And while it was a disappointment for him to start this season in AAA, the silver lining to that was that Chris wasn't yet completely comfortable in his new swing, wasn't completely sold that he was ready to rock with that swing. And so had he been able to start in the majors, obviously that's good, but what would have that been like? Trying to settle into the swing, trying to gain confidence in the swing when you were doing it at the major league level, as opposed to a little bit off the radar, a little bit out of the spotlight, where you can afford to struggle more. Curtis Granderson to open the 5th in a 3-1 game. And German Marquez, been effective so far, is in there with strike 1.
Alana had mentioned about Cody Bellinger, about what a gym rat, video rat he was. Well, Chris Taylor is the same way.
Granderson down the line. That is a foul ball.
Chris Taylor, the kind of guy that in spring training was one of our best hitters, was hot, but would still go in there. And late at night, after everybody's gone home, he's still in the video room looking at his at-bats over and over again, pulling up Mike Trout, pulling up Cabrera, lots of different people, just studying very closely. Like that ball by Granderson down the line, you need to study to make sure it's foul.
Now he goes the other way and beats the shift for a leadoff single. And quietly, Curtis Granderson now has a hit in 6 games in a row.
Has been using center field and now finds left field. You see the shift, so you know the pattern off of his bat is dead pull on the ground and in the air. But Rocky shifted around, but Curtis Granderson with a new approach.
Brings a tying run to the plate in the form of Yasiel Puig. That's thrown by Lucroy. Granderson into scoring position.
Little assumption there by Jonathan Lucroy as he reached for that one. Marquez missed his target by a lot, but the catcher was kind of flat-footed. Take a look, he's expecting that ball inside and just not really prepared for anything wider than maybe the middle of the plate.
Puig sends a high drive to right center field. Charlie Blackmon's back on it at the wall. It's gone. Number 28 of the season for Puig ties the game at 3.
Morongo Casino slow-mo cam. You have to slow Puig down sometimes. That bat moves so fast, he runs so fast, he throws the ball so hard, and that one he hit a long way. Tie this game up, and for now have Clayton Kershaw spit the hook. Now looking to get another run to give him a chance for the W.
That is ball 1 on Chase Utley. Now the interesting thing is Kershaw's spot is due next in the order. He's not reported to the on-deck circle yet. Now Andre Ethier does. And obviously if Ethier pinch hits for him, regardless of what happens here, Kershaw would not be eligible to win the game. Got to pitch the full 5 innings.
That's right, and the long-term plan has been the constant plan for the Dodgers. So this is about October 6th. You know, sometimes on my Twitter account I'll have a fan comment on about, I'm tired of hearing about the Dodgers are not trying. They are trying on a full-blown basis every day, but they are selecting who's playing and when they're playing and if they're playing according to the long-term plan. Not specifically about winning today like it's a consequential game. And in no way have the Dodgers ever taken the field without full effort. But sometimes it's full effort for a shorter amount of time from an individual player or players. because they want to rest them, they want to watch their health, they want to maintain their workload according to the ultimate goal.
Count goes full on Utley. I'd be very interested to see what would happen if Utley hit a home run here to put Kershaw in front.
Yeah.
Instead, a slow tapper to second. LeMahieu. 1 out. And the day will officially end as Andre Ethier comes up to hit for Kershaw, and we check in again with Alana.
Joe, Kershaw's outing ends with 57 pitches thrown, 41 of those 4 strikes. Earlier before the game, when we asked Dave Roberts if he was going to allow Kershaw to go deep enough into the ball game to pick up his 19th win of the season, perhaps, he said, I want to leave it open today, and it's contingent on him as far as how far in the game he will go. He said they talked about it before the game. They will see as the game progressed. Obviously not the best outing for Clayton Kershaw. As Andre Ethier is in there to pinch hit, his outing is done.
Allows those 3 runs, Alana, on 7 hits. A lot of solid contact for the Rockies. Little dribbler, Lucroy to get Ethier. And I think probably way more solid contact than Kershaw wanted to see the Rockies have against him. Especially the psychological side of that. If the Rockies do in fact beat Arizona and face Kershaw on Friday night at Dodger Stadium, they're going to be feeling good about their approach against him because they've been able to produce through a few innings tonight.
It is psychological, but if there's anybody that is mentally tough to do anything in the game of baseball, it's Clayton Kershaw. He has proven it time and time again, responding to Dodger losses and being the stopper, responding in big games, and being as consistent a pitcher and as dominant as a pitcher as you can be.
Ball one on Ethier, or on Taylor. And it'll help that that start will come at Dodger Stadium, not Coors Field. Kershaw's been nearly ordinary for much of his career. An ERA close to 5 here. Taylor shoots one the other way for another base hit. So 2 for 3 tonight with an RBI. Well, looks like the few days off, even though it was to nurse a knee, did him just fine.
3 bullets from Chris Taylor as he lights up the scoreboard, or I guess the exit velocity, with the same number that he wears.
$3 miles per hour.
Oh, 3 hard hit balls for number 3.
Yeah.
There's 1 game left. We got to get it right soon.
Seager grounds it to second. LeMahieu. And that does it for the Dodgers in the 5th. Halfway home, and a tie game thanks to Yasiel Puig's 2-run home run. A career high 28 for number 66. Brought to you by 76. Looking at the postseason schedule. It'll all begin for the Dodgers with Game 1 of the Division Series at Dodger Stadium on Friday night. The way that it sets up, 2 home games, an off day to travel, 2 road games, and if necessary, Game 5 would be back at Dodger Stadium after another travel day. Tony Watson replaces Clayton Kershaw in a tie game to the bottom of the 5th.
Tony out there to get some work. He has been outstanding for the Dodgers and will definitely make the playoff roster. Left on left situation, some really nice practice for him as we watch Yasiel Puig look on after hitting that 2-run homer.
Charlie Blackmon starts the inning and takes a strike. Blackmon all but wrapping up the batting title with his hot start tonight. 2 for 2, has his average at .331 against Justin Turner's .322. This will be the 2nd consecutive season the batting champ has come from the Rockies. And again, this ballpark is not just home runs. It's the largest square footage of any outfield in baseball, which means you get a lot of hits that fall in. Not just the home runs, but the bloopers that dunk in for base hits.
About an extra quarter acre here.
Over the average, over the next best?
I think it's over the next best. It's like 2.66 acres.
Yep. Dodger Stadium 2.46
so
for whatever that's worth.
And Dodger Stadium, it's over the average because Dodger Stadium is right near the average, maybe slightly below.
Watson home with the 1-2, and Blackmon pulls it foul.
You think of postseason, you think of Tony Watson, you think, you know, he'll come in maybe to face some tough left-handed hitters. He's only walked 7 left-handed hitters this year out of 183 guys that have come to the plate. That's the 3rd best of all relievers in baseball. So what you hope if you're Rick Honeycutt and Dave Roberts is when you bring him in, you're going to get a strike thrower, and you sure are. Because what puts gasoline on a fire when a reliever comes in is a guy who all of a sudden melts down and doesn't throw the ball over the plate. He's going to give you a chance, and it's a really good feeling in the postseason.
8th pitch of this at bat for Charlie Blackmon, and he takes it outside. He'll see another. Strike 3 on the outside corner.
Fans, get your postseason NL Division Championship gear at the official team store at Dodger Stadium. Choose from the largest selection of authentic postseason caps and t-shirts. Dodger Stadium team stores are open every day of the week, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the top of the park. On game days, the store opens, of course, 2 hours before the first pitch. So get your stuff today. I've watched some of that gear. I am getting some for sure.
I bet you can even get a discount.
Maybe, yeah. With my employee card, I might be able to get, 5% off. Do you want me to get you something?
Yeah, please.
You want a schmedium?
No, I don't. DJ LeMahieu.
A workout guru like you don't want like that tight t-shirt?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. We'll move on.
Maybe years ago.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, even in my prime, I didn't wear a schmedium.
Where's the H coming from? I thought it was just medium.
I have no idea. Is it just medium?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe that's why I was thrown off when he asked me if I wanted one. I'll take a medium, but
Okay.
medium just doesn't sound right. LeMahieu flips one to second. It short hops Utley, and LeMahieu's aboard with one out.
Not a very easy play, and Chase Utley played it the right way. If he lays back and takes the easy hop, probably not going to get the ball in time to actually throw him out. So he charges it to try and get the short hop. He gets to pick the hop, but the hop got him. Came up a little higher than the glove and caromed off the wrist. Surprised they called that an E4, but they did.
Raimel Tapia will pinch run for LeMahieu. Second Dodger error of the night. And here's Arenado. Tony Watson, who's pitched in the postseason a couple of times, 2013, 2015 with the Pirates. Gave up a home run in his first appearance. That was in the wild card game against Cincinnati in 2013, but in 4 appearances since has not allowed a run. Arenado over second, base hit. His second of the night. Puig boots it, but Tapia is holding it second.
Couple of weakly hit balls. One falls short of an infielder, gets graded an error. This one falls short of an outfielder, and Yasiel's arm stops him around second. Then a little bit of a boot.
And another pinch runner. Alexi Amaristo replaces Nolan Arenado. If you're just joining us, the Rockies have clinched a postseason spot by virtue of a come-from-behind win from St. Louis today over Milwaukee. Brewers had raced out to a 6-0 lead in that game, and it looked like perhaps the pressure would be on Bud Black's team to beat Clayton Kershaw tonight or have a must-win game tomorrow. But the Cardinals scored 7 in a row, including a few late against that really good Milwaukee bullpen to win that game 7-6. And a few minutes before this one started, the Rockies got to celebrate in the clubhouse. First trip to the postseason since '09 here. First and second, one out. Trevor Story was 0 for 2. Rockies shortstop trying to extend a 7-game hitting streak. Strike one. Based on what you're seeing, what's your feel for that wild card game Wednesday?
Well, Arizona at home, that's a real good thing for them. Zach Greinke on the mound against John Gray. Be interesting to research a little bit of that head-to-head, how they've done against the club, but these Rocky bats have woken up in the last week, and I would have said going into this, soft Rocky bats plus playing on the road in Arizona where their bats do usually play down, they're going to need an outstanding pitch game from John Gray right there, because they're probably not going to score much off of Zach Greinke. That still could be the scenario. They hit about 100 points less, I think, on the road.
Yeah, and especially at Chase Field, 207.
And they slug a lot less. Yeah, Chase Field, I think, is their worst ballpark in the National League West of all the road teams.
A double steal and a foul ball.
They do have one advantage, which some people say is a big one, which is playing competitive and consequential games right up through. So they're only getting 2 of these games, the one here tonight and the one tomorrow, the day game, before they play their most consequential game. And having that edge and pushing to the end is sometimes a story that is written in the past that has helped a team.
2007 here, when they won 21 of 22 to finish and then carried that momentum on to the World Series. Strike three called on Story, and Watson is Cade Blackman and Story looking.
If you twisted my arm and said, who do you really want to play? I would say if it was still Milwaukee, Arizona, and Colorado as the possibilities, I would have said I would rather play Milwaukee first. I would play Colorado second, and then I'll play Arizona last. Just the way the starting pitching shapes up in Arizona. Their bullpen has been real solid against us, and their offense has been similar.
Strike on Reynolds.
The rotation here in Colorado has gone through some flux. And they're not always going to send somebody out there that really has a chance to dominate you. This offense can be a scary one, and so can this ballpark of what it can do to you in a short series.
Interesting note from our statistician Nate on that 2007 Rockies team, how they carried the momentum of playing meaningful baseball right to the final day to a World Series trip. Well, they swept the Phillies in the National League Championship Series, and so had a long layover, and then got swept by the Red Sox in the World Series. And a week off in between. Or beat Philly and then Arizona, and then had the week off in between. And the momentum, if you want to put stock into that, seemingly was killed.
The momentum is it's a big word. It comes in different forms. You know, in a game, it can be that 3-run homer that brings you back. It can be a defensive play, a reliever coming in and get you out of a jam. But for a team over a period of time, it is that feeling, that habit of winning and being under the stress of needing to win. It's a nice stress to live with and then to be successful with.
Big swing, small fly. Granderson makes a running catch. And the game remains tied at 3 as we move along to the 6th. Welcome to deeper coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile. News and notes from around the league. Aaron Judge absolutely crushed the ball today for his 54th home run. The Red Sox finally clinched the East, and all the postseason matchups are set. Rockies and Diamondbacks on Wednesday. Twins and the Yankees in the Bronx on Tuesday. Dodgers will get the winner of the National League wild card game. The Indians will get the winner of the American League game. Justin Turner, who hit on the elbow his last time up, Takes a fastball that buzzes the tower here, ball one.
Justin about now is thinking enough is enough. Get a hit on the elbow was a breaking ball with that fastball up and in. It's just enough pitches in off the plate.
And undoubtedly a little bit uncomfortable at this point against Marquez. Laid in a fastball, 2-1. What have you thought of German Marquez?
You know what? He is really looks like he's got a very bright future. Seems poised out there, even though he goes through a rough spot here and there. Big arm, you see there, 96 with life. The most impressive thing is his ability to make the ball break at a mile high here. You don't see many pitchers that can do that. He's in the upper 15, 20% of pitchers that still have confidence at this altitude with the breaking ball.
Turner hits a high fly ball to right field, but easily playable for Carlos Gonzalez, and the first out of the 6. Jonathan Lucroy, Marquez's veteran catcher, said that he's the best pitcher at his age that he's ever caught. And Lucroy said that when he looks at Marquez's last name, M-A-R-Q-U-E-Z, he can't get out of his mind the word Marquis. Not Jason Marquis, but Marquis as in a marquee type pitcher, and he thinks that that is exactly what German Marquez is becoming. Cody Bellinger swings away at the first pitch, strike one.
That's high praise from your veteran catcher who's seen an awful lot of arms, and I'm sure Jonathan knows his age, but you don't know the specific age of everybody, so he's talking young pitchers that he's first caught.
Bellinger smacks one through the middle for a base hit. First one in a few days for him. Comes with one out and a tie game in the 6th. And here's Barnes.
Austin Barnes over his last 5 games as he's earned some public compliments from Dave Roberts about playing time. He didn't shrink under that spotlight. He's hitting over 400 in his last 5 games.
Ropes this one into the seats.
A couple home runs and 6 RBIs with those hits that he's been getting. You just see that short, quick swing that he used there to powder that foul ball. Gives you a lot of time to read the pitch when your bat is that fast.
0-2. Brandon Morrow. A little bit low, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Austin Barnes. Diamondbacks, or the Rockies, trying to beat the Dodgers for a 6th consecutive meeting after the Dodgers had owned the series early on this year. Sweeping that 4-game set at Dodger Stadium earlier this month and taking last night's game 9-1. Barnes hacks and misses, strike 3. Up comes Granderson. High fly ball to right center field. Curtis Granderson hits it deep, but caught at the wall by Raimel Tapia. So we stay tied at 3 to the bottom of the 6th.
Dodgers baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., introducing the $5 All-Star Meals. There's no better way to spend $5, only at Carl's Jr.
Vernon Morrow has turned himself into the primary setup man for October in front of Kenley Jansen. He's on here in a 3-3 game in the 6th.
Electric fastball, the best fastball coming out of the Dodger bullpen until the young Walker Buehler got called up. Walker only nosed him out by about 0.2 of a mile an hour, but Brandon Morrow with that fastball and his breaking ball that is above 90 miles an hour has thoroughly dominated this year, left-handed hitters and right-handed hitters.
Bottom of the order, which is really the only part of the order where the starters are still in there. Gonzalez, Desmond, Lucroy due up in this inning. Bud Black, with the Rockies having clinched the playoff spot earlier today, has rolled in some of the backups. And letting probably the celebration begin back behind the scenes. On the first pitch that Morrow throws, Gonzalez pounces for a base hit to right. Second hit of the game for him, leads off the 6th. And now Desmond. They've got a pinch runner in for Gonzalez. So add another regular to the celebration back in that Rockies dugout and clubhouse. Ryan McMahon running at first as Desmond bats. Big bounce at a third. Turner will be challenged. Throws wide, and Bellinger keeps his foot in the bag, according to first base umpire Jeff Nelson. Although you figure they're going to take a glance at this.
4 feet around the bag, they're going to see if 2 were on. One from Desmond and one from Cody Bellinger. We'll take a look. Oh, he looked like he might have dragged it across the top of the bag. Some real fancy footwork if he did. Oh, yeah. Really crafty to not try and hold the bag. Know your ankle is in danger, but slide it across as soon as you feel the ball in your glove. Get your foot out of the way.
That is an awesome play.
Really awesome. And you think about the flight of the ball coming from Justin Turner, the angle of the throw, and then to be able to pick that up with the runner cutting in front of you. Serious play.
It does move McMahon into scoring position in a tie game for Jonathan Lucroy. Blazing fastball, a little bit up. Two and up. Takes off on him. 3 balls, no strikes. That's in there, 3-1. A guy the Rockies acquired prior to the deadline from Texas. Lucroy's been a nice piece for them. He's really hit well, and he's guided the young staff. It's gotten more experience because they've gotten guys back from injury. Chad Bettis back from battled with cancer. On a 3-1 pitch, Lucroy takes ball 4. Marquez's spot in the order is due up next, so it appears his night is finished as he'll send a pinch hitter, Gerardo Parra, up there. And I said that Marquez would be in line to start game 3 here, so the first game here, but I think he'd actually be in line to start game 2 at Dodger Stadium if they do win on Wednesday. John Gray is lined up to start on Wednesday in the wild card game against Zach Greinke. Game 1 on Friday figures to be the guy the Dodgers will see tomorrow, Tyler Anderson. And then Marquez would be due up for game 2. A strike on Parra.
Good feeling for Marquez to possibly look for the Dodgers down the road and to have a nice solid outing here tonight. Tyler Anderson has been throwing the ball really well of late.
Yeah. Got it on Parra's hands. He can really run, but they're still able to turn a double play. 4-6-3 to put up a 0 for Mora and send us to the late innings in Denver. Brought to you by Arco. Yasiel Puig's 28th home run of the year. Tied the game at 3. That was back in the 5th inning. He's set to lead off his 7th with the score still even.
His home runs are much prettier when they're to right center because that usually is part of a hot streak with his bat. That kind of approach.
He'll face a new pitcher this time. Tyler Chatwood has come in out of the Rockies bullpen. Back and forth between the rotation and the pen this year. He'd been a starter through the end of July, then spent almost all of August in the bullpen. Back into the rotation in early September, but this year is his first relief appearance since September 2nd.
His last outing was 4 days ago, 95 pitches, so he's well rested, probably even had a light side work in between.
Puig, Utley in the pitcher spot. Foul, strike 1. Chatwood, a Southern California guys from the Redlands. Grew up an Angels fan. and was drafted by the Angels in the second round. Came over in a trade for Chris Iannetta. Now in his 6th year with Major League time after debuting with the Angels in 2011. Came over here to Colorado in 2012. Two and one on Puig. Three and one. But Chatwood, similar to a lot of guys in that he's had Tommy John surgery. Unique in that he's had it twice. You don't see many guys come back from 2 Tommy John surgeries. That one rides in on Puig and gets a piece of him. He would have been aboard either way. It's a hit batsman and the leadoff man on here in the 7th.
They don't look like they're on purpose, but this is going to get aggravating for the Dodger club. Justin Turner's been pitched inside, had a breaking ball hit him, and now Yasiel Puig ridden up and in, and it nicks him. Frustration does build even when you hit people by accident.
Chatwood against Utley now. And that gets Utley. Part of that was the old Silver Fox leaning in a little bit, and that's Chatwood's argument. But back-to-back hit batsmen open this inning, and the Dodgers with a good chance to jump in front. Sly.
Chase's way of getting out of the way is just to turn away, which you're taught to do to protect yourself. You turn your head away, you turn your front side away, and let it hit you in the fat. That one barely nicked his uniform.
Not a whole lot of fat there.
No, not on his body, even at his age. Just grazed his thigh.
We got a great look at this. Just barely clips the pants. Wow. Great shot. 2 on, nobody out. In the game, the Dodgers trailed 3-0. They've tied it up and now with a chance for the lead. Jock Peterson pinch hitting out of the 9 spot. Looking at strike 1. That's the closest a ball's ever come to coming in the booth, and if it did, I had no chance.
I was backing out of the way.
I was like, well, I'm going to slide over. It's probably not going to hit me. It hit right here.
Right in the front. You got the monitor to protect you.
It was going to split the monitors. It's going to be a perfectly kicked field goal between the 2 monitors. 0-2 to Peterson in the dirt, ball 1.
Dodgers looking to get that winning feeling back. First and second no out here in a tie game. Real good opportunity for them to get some momentum.
Puig at second, Utley at first, nobody out in a tie game in the seventh, and Peterson pulls a soft bouncer to second. Amarista throws to get him, but it advances the runners to second and third and brings up Chris Taylor.
Chris Taylor's hit the ball hard all 3 times tonight. 2 ended up being hits. He is on time and barreling it up.
Dodgers looking for their first lead of the night. That one bounces into the backhanded glove of Lucroy for ball 1. A win, by the way, would give them 103, which would be a new LA Dodger record. Right under it. Foul ground down the right field line into the seats. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Facts. Most wins in a single season in LA Dodger history. 1974, 1962. They won 102. Got an opportunity tonight, and if not tonight, tomorrow afternoon to set a new LA Dodger record.
What a wonderful accomplishment for last year's Manager of the Year. This year he'll be in that same running. Rick Honeycutt leading one of the best pitching staffs in baseball, and this team has accomplished an awful lot in the regular season. That would top it off. One more win here.
Off of the glove of Chatwood. It's picked up at second by Amarista, but the Dodgers have taken the lead as Chris Taylor brings home Puig. Second RBI of the night and a ground out by Taylor. And after trailing this game 3-0, they've battled all the way back.
You nick Puig, you nick Utley, move him over with a swinging bunt pretty much from Peterson, and then this 1 to 4 to 3 ends up being an RBI and his second of the night for Chris Taylor.
It looks like they're going to make a change. Chatwood coming out with the Dodgers jumping in front. Couple of hit batsmen to open the inning. Then the ground balls produce a 4-3 lead. And here comes Jake McGee.
Evan, join the 2018 Dodger family by signing up now for the season seat or mini plan wait list. Registered fans will be contacted by a Dodger season ticket representative on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit Dodgers.com/season tickets or call 866-DODGERS today.
Newest pitcher for the Rockies is Jake McGee, who's put together a pretty good season. He's been used a bunch. 62nd appearance here in Game 161.
2014, he had 73 appearances. He is coming up close to that one. He is a workhorse.
That was in Tampa Bay. Came over in the same deal that brought tonight's starter, Germán Marquez. That's strike one on Corey Seager. Marquez really was not the headliner. It was McGee that was the headliner of that trade. He was supposed to be Colorado's closer and was early on last year, but didn't do well. Seager rolls it to second. Amarista throws to get him. The Dodgers have taken their first lead of the night. Stretch time at Coors in a 4-3 game. Coverage of the NLDS with Access Sportsnet Dodgers right here on Sportsnet LA before and after each postseason game. We don't know exactly the times of those games. We just know that we'll have coverage for you before them and after them. Game one next Friday night at Dodger Stadium. Here's Brock Stewart. I said next Friday night. Next Friday, either afternoon or night. We don't know for sure yet. And as Stewart comes in trying to protect a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the seventh.
Brock's getting plenty of experience this September. The Dodgers never afraid to call on in any role. Shoulder issues in spring training and different aches and pains, but has really turned his year around and shown now going into next year that he'll be very healthy after a good solid off season of work. And who knows, he might still get a shot at that postseason roster.
Oh, UCLA Bruin Pat Valaika leads off this inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. Bruins hosting the Buffaloes tonight. Aldana Rizzo's Colorado Buffaloes. 1-2. Tough loss for the Trojans last night.
Number 6 in the BCS. Now they're going to drop out of the top 10.
BCS reference up in here, huh? It's been gone for a while, big guy.
Is it gone?
Yeah.
All right. Just catch me up.
AP. It's AP, I guess. Paleka muscles one into center for a base hit. Then you get the college football playoff rankings that are coming a little later. Had to get rid of the BCS though. Computers to decide it.
Does that tell you how big a college football fan I am?
You're dialed in though. Give yourself a little more credit. Raimel Tapia with one on, nobody out.
Certain games I pay attention to.
Did you have a rooting interest in?
No. My son went to USC, so I watched very closely.
You're going to make a change here. Tony Cingrani coming on, 4-3.
He's been a huge surprise on the short term, and he's going to be what it looks like a very good asset in the long term, but it's all about short term right now, and I'm sure he will make the playoff roster with his disappearing fastball and continues to show consistency out of the bullpen. He could be projected as a starter, but right now as a left-handed reliever and somebody that can give you a little bit of length and also come in a key situation, will not melt down. He is building that resume.
And Dave Roberts calls on him to face the left-handed batting Raimel Tapia. Pop fly. Charlie Culberson in the game for Corey Seager is short, making the call on a running catch.
Most of the Dodgers starters still in there because they're going to have a lot of time off before they play their first playoff game. But Bud Black electing to get his starters out of the game about halfway through here, keeping them in their rhythm with their hot bats, get them a few at bats, but with the clinch happening earlier before the game, letting them celebrate and relax a little bit. But I would think those guys are going to get back in there again tomorrow because they want to stay in rhythm when they face Arizona.
Amarista takes a strike. Game will be Wednesday night down at Chase Field. Strike two.
Do they do a media day and a workout before the wild card game?
That's a good question. I would think there's a workout. I don't know if there's a typical, full media Although even in the division series, I don't know if there's a true media day. It's a check swing. They say that he offered, and that's a strikeout.
High fastball couldn't hold up. Colorado might work out here on Monday, travel Tuesday, and then work out once they get in there, or travel Monday, work out there Tuesday, play Wednesday.
Maybe kind of thing where contingent on whatever team. You know, every team's going to do it a little bit differently.
How long the flight is.
Strike one on Trevor Story. So this will be Trevor Story's first postseason game. 25-year-old in his second major league year. Was giving Corey Seager a run for his money for Rookie of the Year last year before that injury to his thumb ended his season in early August. Behind Cingrani, 0-2. Son of a firefighter like Cody Bellinger. His mom is the CEO of a charitable organization. If he wasn't playing baseball, he said he'd be following in his dad's footsteps and be a firefighter. And right now he is all baseball all the time. So his family gets on him. He comes home for the offseason and they don't even see him because he's in the cage and in the gym and always prepping. Cingrani strikes him out. An impressive work from Tony Cingrani, on to retire 3 in a row in the blink of an eye. Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers or visit SoCalBMW.com. After falling behind 3-0, the Dodgers have a 4-3 lead to the 8th inning where Adam Ottavino comes in.
Hadn't been out there in a while. 5.26 ERA, has struggled throughout the year. Opponent's batting average at .251. We'll explain that. And those walks are way too high. 38 of them.
This is after he had a really good season last year and spent some time as the Rockies closer even. Grandal leads off the inning and takes a strike. Ottavino had an ERA right around 3 in mid-June. And then that crazy game at Dodger Stadium on a Sunday afternoon where he had 4 wild pitches in 1 appearance. Gave up 6 runs in 1 inning. Starting with that game, his ERA is above 7.5 and has effectively pitched his way off of the postseason roster. Grandal hitting for Turner to open this 8th inning. And taking a pitch low and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. To the back door to get him 1 out.
You were mentioning how many Dodger fans we saw around downtown here. They just started a "Let's Go Dodgers" chant that was only drowned out by a little applause by the Rocky fans and then the strikeout of Grandal. They want to get it going.
On a night where the Rockies have clinched their first postseason trip in 8 years, there's a "Let's Go Dodgers" chant at Coors Field. Cody Bellinger 1 for 3 tonight. Takes inside, it's 1-1. By the way, they've gone final in Cleveland. White Sox beating the Indians 2-1, which means the Dodgers have officially clinched home field throughout the postseason. It's only the Indians' 4th loss in their last 36 games.
So if the Dodgers go undefeated at home in the playoffs, they win the World Championship.
Yeah.
Be a nice run. And awfully exciting. A Game 5, a Game 7, and a Game 7.
Although that would then mean that they lose every game on the road.
That's true.
Yeah. Guess if you're going to lose them, do it away from Dodger Stadium. The base is empty and 1 out in a 1-run game in the 8th. Bellinger swings and misses for strike 3. With 2 outs, here's Barnes. Takes one down and away, ball 1. Allen found the zone, evens the count up. A Dodger win would give them 7 out of their last 9. For the 5-20 slide. And it set up a chance to win the series tomorrow and have a really good feeling going into the postseason.
Happy flight home. Good taste in your mouth through the workouts as you get ready for the wild card winner.
Ottavino strikes out the side in the 8th. To the bottom half we go with the Dodgers in front 4-3.
Brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers, John Hartung and Nomar Garcia-Parra. Break down the second to last game of the Dodgers 2017 regular season. The biggest thing today, they have clinched home field throughout the World Series, should they get there, guys.
All right, Alana with a 4-3 lead in this one, and Pedro Baez on for the second time in as many games in this series. Went 1 2/3 last night without a run.
Seeing some nice growth of him coming out of his slump. The outings haven't always been pretty, but he's continuing to put zeros up there, strike people out with a good pitch mix, seeing more change-ups, more sliders, and better location with the fastball. Hopefully his confidence grows, as I know there's a lot of people in uniform for the Dodgers that want to see him on the playoff roster.
Bill Plunkett had a good article about Kenley Jansen kind of taking Baez under his wing, making a public plea to have the Dodgers keep Baez on the roster. One thing to take a look at, because the September body of work has not been a good case for Pedro to make the postseason roster, but the Dodgers keep talking about a lot of it has to do with who they play. Pedro Baez has faced the Rockies 7 times this year and not allowed a run. Mike Tauchman takes ball 1.
I think that's a nice finishing touch on the decision whether he's on the roster or not, but I think ultimately they're really looking at how he's throwing the ball now, how his mannerisms look on the mound. Is he out there still fighting, or is he wavering? And the pitch selection has been much, much better. He's not defaulting to his fastball. He's actually using both sides of the plate with the fastball, and we're seeing him use the changeup and back-to-back off-speed pitches sometimes with that slider.
He's pitched in Coors Field 12 times in his career and has a 1.54 here. That's hard to do.
Outstanding two-seam fastball right there. Not only do you think about defaulting to just a 4-seam fastball, throw it as hard as you can up, but He does have the ability to throw that two-seamer and make it move like that last pitch.
That one falls off the table. Change up evens the count 2-2.
That is some serious growth as far as pitch selection. 2-1, normally a fastball from him, and Austin Barnes put down the wiggle, which means change up, and Pedro just pulled the trigger on it, didn't shake down something else.
Tauchman takes high, full count. A rookie, another rookie. It's all rookies for the Rockies right now. In fact, the only guy still in the lineup that started the game for Colorado is Trevor Story.
Tomorrow for the Dodgers, we'll see another pattern like this. I think we'll see the regulars play 3/4 to the full game. We'll see a lot of guys from the bullpen. Inning here and there. There'll be a parade of them.
A strikeout to open the 8th. Dave Roberts had initially said Brandon McCarthy would be a likely guy to take the ball to start on Sunday, but he's been a little bit under the weather. Brought up Ross Stripling's name before the game today to Alana Rizzo, and part of that was contingent on what happened tonight. We've not yet seen Stripling, so that still could very much be in play to start the game tomorrow. And really, doesn't matter who starts it, because it is going to be a bullpen game. And piece by piece, they'll work their way through the final day. Here's Ryan McMahon, who came up for his big league debut in early August. Strike one. Oh, and 2.
Perfect time and count to experiment with some pitches that you want to work on right here. Bounce a slider down the middle. Change up in the dirt. Austin Barnes looked like he wanted something low, but now Pedro shaking to a high fastball.
And using it to strike him out.
Perfect height, just a ball above the belt.
So a pair of strikeouts in the inning, and Ryan Hannigan will bat. The Dodgers holding on to this 4-3 lead. And Pedro Baez doing his best to make one last case to salvage his case for the postseason roster.
I wouldn't be surprised if they bring him back again tomorrow, even if he has the clean inning here. Still going to have 4 days off. Dave Roberts looks like he might want to try that just to build the reps. Keep the pitch count down here to 10. Maybe bring him back tomorrow, get him another good feeling. This is great to get him up the tunnel.
How about the smile Dave Roberts flashes to Pedro Baez as he takes it from him to bring on Kenley Jansen, looking for a 4-out save. the 8th inning, and then we'll see from there.
Yeah, you know what? It's very interesting that he brings him in here. There's an inning and a third left in the game. Does Kenley want to be stretched out and also have that downtime where he could pitch 4-out save in the postseason? Or do they want to use him in back-to-back days? Short outing here. Somebody else pitches the 9th and then bring Kenley back tomorrow. Interesting. I would say Kenley's involved with that decision. Dave Roberts, of course, and Rick Honeycutt.
Jansen on for Hannigan after Baez strikes out both batters he faces. Jansen's first one. Rides in ball 1 and down to Alana.
Guys, a large contingent of Dodgers fans here singing happy birthday to Kenley Jansen. The big guy turns 30 years old today, 30 years young, I should say. It's also the birthday of a fellow reliever. Edward Paredes turns 31 today.
All right, happy birthday to both Kenley and Edward. There's a strike, 1-1. Down the right field line, slicing, foul. Ryan Hannigan out of Lexington, Kentucky, where he does both shows dogs and dog shows and breeds horses. The dog thing is a hobby for him. The horse breeding is kind of an off-season business.
Here's why Kenley Jansen is so good. Think about 95 miles an hour with cut and watch him hit the glove. That's just amazing. He will do that a lot.
Hannigan chases as he goes to the slider, and between Baez and Jansen, they strike out this side in the 8th and send us to the 9th in a 4-3 game. Dodgers in front of the Rockies 4-3, getting 3 runs to tie it up in the 5th inning and then taking the lead in the 7th. And here's Mike Dunn, who's in his first season in a Rockies uniform, on to try and keep it a 1-run game.
The Rockies bullpen had a turn down for what?
Downturn.
They had a downturn but they have started to pitch better of late. Mike Dunn, his last 8 appearances, 4 innings, no runs. He had kind of a skid for a little bit, but is now settling back in. And like the Dodgers, the Rockies now in position to want to get all the parts peaking at the right time, and Mike Dunn is a guy they're going to rely on heavily if they can sneak by Arizona.
And with the left-hander now out there, Dave Roberts sends Kike Hernandez up to bat in Curtis Granderson's spot. Ball 1. So every game in baseball this year for the first time will start at the same time on the final day of this season. 12:10 in Los Angeles, 3:10 out east. And the thought was that you could have some chaos all playing out at the same time on the final day. Unfortunately, there really is no question what's going on. Everything's decided at this point. But I think in years moving forward, that could be a really fun thing on the last day.
A lot of fun. A lot of people floating around new ideas about the whole wild card thing too, and double headers and what you earn. And you never know with a new commissioner what could end up being enacted.
And a very forward-thinking commissioner in Rob Manfred.
Yep.
So the wild card setup we were talking about that they have in Korea, if it was adopted, this is how it would work. Since Arizona has a better record than Colorado, it'd be a doubleheader on Wednesday in Arizona. If the Diamondbacks won the first game of the doubleheader, you don't play the second. Diamondbacks would move on to the DS. Because the Rockies had a worse record than Arizona, they'd have to win twice. They'd have to force the second game of the doubleheader. If they win that, then they'd advance to the division series. That's how they do it in Korea, to put more of an emphasis on having the best record of the wild cards. Really, the reason it's come up is because in the American League, the Yankees have a pretty wide margin over the second wild card team, the Twins. Hernandez on a bounce to second. Amarista, 1 out.
You know, the interesting thing about that scenario from what they do in Korea is that it gives a little bigger advantage to the team that wins the division. If the team with the worst record forces that game too, whoever moves on has had to do an awful lot of work before they face you.
Just one batter for Mike Dunn. Here comes Greg Holland. League lead with 41 saves this year. Comes on here in a non-save situation, trying to keep it 4-3.
Well, the resurgence of the Rocky bullpen is on his back too. Dunn and Holland. Over the last 9 games, Holland has been good. An ERA of 1. 5 for 5 in save opportunities. This is not one.
Puig's 2-run homer tied this game back in the 5th. Dodgers took their first lead of the night in the 7th inning when Puig scored on a ground out from Chris Taylor. I've gotten 2 of the runs on the Puig homer, 2 of the runs on separate Taylor groundouts. Two and up.
Yasiel Puig has had a very good year offensively, especially in the second half, and all the work that he and Turner Ward put in.
Digs it out and singles to left. Puig has reached all 4 times tonight.
That's a great example of that work that they put in when he can take a slider away, read that it's going to be up, have enough swing left to get under the ball and hit the ball in the air to left field. And with that consistent work, he got moved up in the order. It didn't seem to change him at all. He could be a real X factor going into the playoffs.
Dodgers trying to extend this lead. Here's Chase Utley. Strike 1.
No action in the Dodger bullpen. That means the plan with Kenley Jansen is to come back out for the 9th. Go for his 41st save.
Cranked to right center field. Chase Utley splits the gap with a bullet that hits off the wall. They send Puig. No relay after the juggle. RBI double Chase Utley to double the lead in the 9th.
Starting to remind me of the Dodger team that was so hot for so long, grinding out at bats, adding on to the lead. Kenley Jansen looking for a 4-out save. Yasiel Puig in the middle of the offense.
And they're going to pinch run for Chase Utley. Timlo Castro, second appearance in as many nights in the majors. We're going to run for me. Logan Forsythe hits. That's ball 1. Dueling chants. There are enough Dodger fans here that the Rockies fans are having to go full throat to try and drown them out. Greg Hollins 1-1. That's a strike 1 and 2. The Dodgers now 3 outs away from a franchise record since the team moved from Brooklyn. They've twice won 102. Tonight looking for 103 on a night where Yasiel Puig has scored 4 of the 5 runs. And driven in the other. Locastro runs. And that is a stolen base. First of the career of Tim Locastro.
It's the signal, I am sure, from Chris Woodward and Dave Roberts. You're not going to do that on your own. They want to see what he can do.
He was painting his parents' basement in New York when he got the call the other day that the Dodgers wanted him in Denver to suit up for his major league debut and audition for one of the 25 roster spots. Taylor's hit it hard all 4 times tonight. He's driven in 2, has a couple of base hits, takes a strike, and we check in with Alana.
Today she is here at the ballpark. I got her side of that conversation when Tim said, bad news is I can't finish painting your basement. Good news is I'm getting called up to the show. She said, I do not care. Congratulations. She is here. His girlfriend flew in today. It took him a bit to get here. They came from Syracuse to Chicago with the connection, and they made it in time.
It was as if you were doing that report into Locastro's ear there, the way you were perched up above in that shot. 1-1. Hi, Alana.
That's a bit awkward. Hi, guys.
So much so that he moved.
I would too. It's a little weird.
He's back. Whisper. High fly ball into short right center field. Amarista's got it. The Dodgers finished in the 9th, but they add a run, and Kenley Jansen comes out to try and finish off win number 103. A bit extra to get the job done here, looking for his 41st save of the year, which would tie him with Greg Holland for the most in the National League. Got a strikeout to finish the 8th, and now facing 8, 9, and 1 to try and lock it down in the 9th. Tony Walters to lead it off.
It's really appropriate to have Kenley Jansen on the mound for the possible 103rd victory for the Los Angeles Dodgers this year. Clayton started it, more of a workout than an outing for him, but Kenley can finish it in the manner in which he has come accustomed by getting a save.
A strike.
Really part of the core that Andrew Friedman and the front office and Dave Roberts brought back here to turn this into a special team and have a special year. The Rich Hill signing, the Justin Turner signing, and the Kenley Jansen signing. really started the momentum coming into 2017.
Two and one. Dodgers brought back almost the entire active roster from last season's National League Championship Series against the Cubs. And then go figure, it's guys like Bellinger and Taylor that break onto the scene that weren't even part of the picture then. Walter starts the inning with a base hit to right center. So the Rockies get the tying run to the plate against Jansen, with Gerardo Parra coming up now.
Does a nice job. The cutter doesn't cut all the way, but he still had to pull his hands in to get the barrel to it.
Parra, one of the most well-liked guys over in that Rockies clubhouse. Great personality, leader. And has lost out on playing time recently because Ian Desmond and Carlos Gonzalez have both really started to hit. And that's just kind of left him without a spot. But it'll be an important piece off of the bench for them Wednesday, and they hope beyond. One ball, one strike.
Nail down this save. And maybe if the Dodgers are up by less than 3 or less than 4 tomorrow, maybe let him get a one-out save and try and lead the league in saves. Because the guy he would be passing would be on the opposing team, and they both can't get a save in the same game.
Yeah, Greg Holland, I mentioned, had the 41 saves. That's what Jansen's looking for here. By the way, how thankful do you think the Rockies are of the Cardinals right now for that 7-run rally today? Or else, they'd be looking at going into the final day of the season with a magic number at 1. That's some pressure. That one gets away. That run doesn't matter much, although that does take the double play out of order. And the count goes to 2-2 on Parra.
Yeah, the ball gets away, and it may extend Kenley's pitch count a little bit. Instead of 2 outs on 1 pitch, the wild pitch turns it into probably not going to be any double plays this inning unless something else happens.
A 2-2. Full count now. Well, the Rockies trying to mount something here in the 9th. Parra's in the 9th spot, so top of the order after him, but it's a bunch of new guys in there. Bud Black, as this game has rolled on, has replaced every spot in the lineup. So Valleca, Tapia, Amarista instead of Blackman, LeMahieu, Arenado. runner at second. They recycle through the signs. Jansen frustrated, and he and Barnes come together. Walters at second, nobody out. Gerardo Parra swings and misses at a slider, strike 3. How many times have we seen a mound visit followed by that slider?
Kenley is really gaining a lot of confidence in this pitch, and sometimes both Yasmani and Austin will default to the cutter in when he backs into a count because it is so effective. Kenley doesn't want people to understand what's coming.
One out in the ninth, Pat Valaika. Tying run at the plate for the Rockies. So Dodgers try to even this series at a game apiece and end a 5-game skid against Colorado. Set up an opportunity at series win tomorrow as Barnes gets drilled by this foul tip.
I don't know if it's leg or hand.
Oh boy.
Oh, family jewels.
Usually we try to do a better job of talking around it, but
no. I raised 2 boys. And they were like, Dad, oh no. I was like, oh, where'd you get hit? You go, you know.
no laughing matter.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's outstanding. Yeah, that tough.
it's one of those injuries where nobody's going to argue with you taking a little extra time. They can all relate.
It's hard to breathe.
Yeah.
It's amazing he's back in there that quick.
Count on Valaika is 0-1. That's a strike, 0-2. The slider's put in play, but it's an easy play for Culberson, and the Rockies down to their final out.
Batters either swing and miss at that slider or hit it weakly, as they just can't sit on it. And it's such a huge change of speed and change of angle. It's a very effective pitch for him.
Up the top here to try and keep it moving. How big does that insurance run look now that Chase Utley drove in the top of this inning?
Especially with Tapia's speed, an infield hit would have scored 1 here. A lot of ways that he can score the runner from third, but that's not going to be enough.
If he reaches, Amarista hits. 5-3 game in the 9th inning. Kenley Jansen pitches, and Tapia muscles a soft liner. It's caught. Logan Forsythe has it. And they've set a new Los Angeles Dodgers record. 103 wins in 2017.
A fantastic year. 1 more game left in the regular season. Kenley Jansen with his 41st save. It's been a good year, and they want it to continue on.
Our Lexus play of the game. Yasiel Puig scored 4 runs tonight, reaching all 4 times he came up. None bigger than this 2-run home run that tied the game after the Rockies led it 3-0. The Dodgers come from behind, scoring the game's final 5 runs to even the series at a game apiece. All is right again. They've won 7 of their last 9. 1 left to go in the regular season. For Oral, Alana, and the rest of our crew, Joe Davis saying so long from Denver. Access Sportsnet brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers starts now.